Well, maybe you've seen some of the photos of this. The 6 so-called ghost bikes have been placed outside a county hall in Norwich. They're bikes that have been painted white to represent the 6 cyclists that have been killed on Norfolk's roads so far this year. The move was organised by the group Norwich Cycling Campaign, who are calling on the County Council to make safety improvements to the county's streets and highways to prevent further deaths. Peter Silburn from the group has been speaking to our reporter Andy Trigg.
Ghost bikes originated in America, I think about 20 years ago, as a way of commemorating or memorializing someone who's been killed in a road crash. So people started to put bicycles that are painted white at the crash site, sort of chained to the railings, partly as a memorial and partly as a sort of warning to, or an indication to drivers that this is a dangerous junction. So really it was an idea that we just thought, rather than having individually marking the 6 people who've been killed so far on Norfolk's roads while on their bikes, we put them all together. And I think 6 bikes together presented a powerful image. And we thought putting them outside County Hall, so Norfolk County Council are the people responsible for safety on our roads. So it's a message that we wanted to get out there, to really show that 6 people being killed on their bikes on Norfolk roads really isn't acceptable.
And it was a part of a day of action at the weekend, calling for better safety for cyclists in Norwich. I know the group XR Norwich held a protest cycling ride as well. Again, what kind of reaction did that have? And do you feel like you're being listened to?
Well, yes, you're absolutely right. So this was part of a national day of action. People getting killed on their bikes on the roads is not a problem that's just in Norfolk. It's countrywide, and it does seem to be on the increase that more people are getting killed on their bikes. So that's definitely very concerning. So the national, we coordinated this as part of a national day of action. So we in the cycling campaign did the ghost bikes. As you say, XR Norwich organised a bike ride. And at 11 a.m. all around the country, there was a minute's silence for the victims of road danger.
And postcards were handed in to County Hall on Monday as well, written by 70 children. Just tell me about the postcards and what was actually written on them.
Right. Well, that was part of an event the previous weekend, a kiddical mass ride. So that's children and families riding around the city of Norwich, really to highlight that it's not safe for children. So that was a kind of marshaled ride, and it was quite a real amazing fun event. But it does would highlight that every other day of the year, these children can't ride their bikes safely on roads, without having marshals in high-vis jackets kind of protecting them. And at the end of that event, postcards were handed out for children to write their messages. Now, these postcards were addressed to Graham Plant, who's the board member for highways and transport at Norfolk County Council, the man responsible for safety on our roads. And the messages were calling for more and better cycle infrastructure on our roads so children can feel safe. On Monday morning, we presented those to Graham Plant in the council building in County Hall. And he has promised to read those messages and respond to us.
And I'm a cyclist. I cycle into work every day. I know how dangerous it can be. What exactly are you calling for? What would you like to see done by the county council?
Well, it's quite simple, really. In order to make people feel safe, on busy main roads, you need protected cycle lanes. That's physically protected cycle lanes, so that people are physically safe from busy traffic and also feel safe. Now, you don't need cycle lanes everywhere. On quieter residential roads, you just need to reduce the speed of traffic and the amount of traffic. So we're talking here about, reducing the traffic to maybe 20 miles an hour and just reducing the amount of traffic so that, you can actually feel safe cycling there. So those are the simple measures we need. Now, it's not rocket science. This is what's done all over the world in order to make cities more cycle friendly.
And Norwich obviously is a city in a very rural county where cars are desperately needed by families in order to get kids to school and for people to get to work. Is it too much to ask, really, to reduce the level of traffic, certainly on Norwich's roads, when people are so reliant on cars here?
Well, I mean, that's absolutely right. Unfortunately, Norfolk doesn't have a very good public transport system. So unfortunately, people are reliant on cars, whether they want to be or not, to get around the county. So that's certainly true. But in the city, cars are really not the best way of getting about. So we should be restricting cars and making walking and cycling much more, much more attractive. We need action. As you say, 6 people killed. Now, each of those is someone who didn't make it home that day. I mean, it's a shocking statistic. And, the response from the council was, we're sorry to hear about that. Well, is that acceptable? That's a question we need to ask ourselves as a society. Is it acceptable for these 6 people to have been killed just getting about by bike, or do we want to do something about it? Now, one approach is what's called Vision Zero. So that's where cities say, right, we're going to take a different approach rather than being reactive to every time someone gets killed, and maybe look at a road junction and maybe make some changes. You take a sort of systems-based approach where you look at the source of the danger, which in most cases is cars, and you think, well, what can we do to reduce that danger? And take one example, Oslo in Norway took on the concept of Vision Zero back in 2015. And in 2019, they had 0 road deaths that year. That's from anyone, whether drivers, pedestrians, cyclists, anyone. 0 road deaths in the city. That would be, that's something worth achieving, isn't it? Surely.
It's Peter Silburn. As you heard, there 6 cyclists have been killed on Norfolk's roads so far this year, which compares to 4 for the whole of 2022.